Hi guys, it is just a nasty, ugly, brutal, depressing, slit your wrist, swing from the ceiling on a rope day here in the end times in the flooded out hellhole of Garfield, Texas on this dark, gloomy Monday evening now, October 15th, 2018. So, as some of you might be aware, I am in the middle of one of the most vicious depressions that I have been in a long time, and I don't see any quick way out of this looking at the damn weather forecast. But anyway, so as you may have starting to figure out that I am really trying to decide. Well, Sam Mitchell, the performance artist who has created this fictional character named Hambone Littletail. Sam Mitchell is really about had enough of Hambone Littletail, and I'm about 1 inch from sending Hambone Littletail off to wherever he deserves to go. And I was really, I have been fighting with this for 72 hours, but I just got home and I want to thank, of all people, I want to thank my old buddy Seymour Rocks, otherwise known as Robert Westenra. Robert Westenra is the same guy as this clueless fucking moron. Seymour Rocks, once again, has come through for Hambone, and not only do we have some comments from Seymour, but my old friend, and the only reason I'm mentioning this is because he's talking about me, and I want to make it clear, if Guy McPherson wants to stir up any shit with a fictional character named Hambone Littletail, that I have full license to to respond to it. I don't talk about Guy McPherson on this channel anymore. The fucker is just he just bores me. He has never made one single prediction in his entire life that has ever come true. He is definitely a serial liar. I have an email from Peter Wadhams right in front of me calling Guy McPherson a liar. I'm not going to sit here and read it because it's a private email, but I'll email Peter and ask him if he has any problem with me reading this email out about Peter Wadham's opinion of Guy McPherson. If you want to find a serial liar in the Doomosphere, you need to look no further than Seymour Rocks and Guy McPherson. The guy is a lying sack of shit. The other problems that people have with Guy McPherson, I'm not going to get into, but anyway, I want to thank Seymour Rocks and Guy McPherson. In a little bit, I'll even give a little bit of credit to our non-alert former tribes member, that little spineless, ballless fucking little weasel, that little whore down there in New Zealand. What is his name? Kevin Hester. Kevin Hester. Yeah, when it's time to be interviewed on Humpty Dumpty Tribe, you should see the little attention whore falling all over himself to be interviewed by me. And then using my YouTube platform to advertise his platform, when the fucking little spineless weasel won't he sure as shit won't interview me for Nature Bats Last. That'll be the day. And so it's fine for Kevin to come on to Humpty Dumpty Tribe and sit here and kiss my ass and expect me to give Nature Bats Last all the free advert, and I do up until today. The little fucker's gone off of this channel forever. So anyway, I want to thank my my little mole in the Doomosphere for sending me. I'm not even sure what this is, guys. I'm assuming that this is Seymour Rocks or Robin Westenra's post. I don't even know what the fuck it was that he posted. I think what he posted, I mean, I don't even know. I have no interest in anything coming out of Robin Westenra, aka Seymour Rox's ass. So I'm thinking what this comment thread is about. I posted a video regarding my Humpty Dumpty tribe hero, Paul Beckwith, where one of our tribe's members trash talked Paul, and I took serious issue with one of my tribe's members trash talking one of my heroes. And so I did a short video, a fightin' words comment of the day. I read the comment out, and I vehemently disagreed with it. I defended Paul Beckwith as one of my all-time Humpty Dumpty tribe heroes, and I made it clear that I took serious issue with people talking trash about Paul Beckwith. I did mention, being depressed myself, I am a little concerned about Paul. He doesn't look that good. He looks kind of like me. And I'm afraid the man is getting depressed, and he has, and if Paul Beckwith is getting depressed, I have nothing but empathy and pity for the man. But anyway, so I think what this is that Seymour Rocks posted that video. I'm assuming. I am only posting this to alert folks to the further poison this sick individual, meaning Hambone Littletail, not Paul Beckwith. I am only posting this to alert folks to the further poison this sick individual is spreading, the further poison, me vehemently defending Paul Beckwith, calling him one of my all-time heroes. There's a good example of further poison. I don't care what he says. This should not be up for public discussion. Okay, yeah, so that's what it was. He put up that video. And so I'm going to break off here. And so I just sent this email off to Paul Beckwith. And I'm waiting for his answer back. Paul, last week I put out a short video about you in which somebody made some derogatory comments about you on my channel. In my video, I read the comments aloud, and as I had already done in the written comment thread, I vehemently denounced the comments and assured my listeners that you were one of my heroes. The vast majority of the people leaving comments agreed with me. I never heard from you, so I figured you either did not hear it, or if you did, you could care less. Here is the link to the video. Please give it a listen and send me your reaction. Please let me know if your comments are public or private. So hopefully he'll have some public comments to share. If you are offended by anything in that video, I apologize for that and will gladly take it down. It was only my intention to defend your honor and work you do. Keep up the good fight, amigo. Your work is greatly appreciated. So we're going to wait to hear back from Paul on that one. So where was I? Okay, let's start down the comment thread. And guess who we have a comment from? Good old Guy McPherson. As I say, I can, and for this video, since it is a response to Guy McPherson, I will make I will make an exception for anyone who wants to comment on this video about Guy McPherson. Normally, whenever I see the words Guy McPherson in a comment on my channel, whether it's pro-Guy or anti-Guy, if Guy McPherson's name is mentioned in a comment on Humpty Dumpty Tribe, it is automatically deleted. But I will make an exception because Guy McPherson has no problem smearing my name around the Doomosphere. So anybody else is welcome to weigh in on this. So take it away, Guy McPherson. Sam Mitchell, also known as Hambone Littletail, is a horrible human. He is the very definition of a grifter. I'm going to have to look up the definition of grifter. Here is your chance to block both his profiles on Facebook. There you go. So Guy McPherson is here. Of course, Guy McPherson has blocked me from his Facebook channel. So Guy is offering your chance to block. He's talking about Collapse Chronicles and Humpty Dumpty Tribe's profiles, I guess is what he's talking about. Because I actually have like 5 Facebook pages, and he only I guess he only knows about 2 of them. Okay, what is up with Stephen Hares? Steph Hares. I guess Steph is a woman. I won't even listen to this or anything he, meaning Hambone, puts out after what he said about Pauline. He is dead to me. I guess what he's talking about, what I said about Pauline, is calling her, you know, Pauline is Guy McPherson's deep pockets sugar tit. That's what he was. That's what she is. And these people, even Sandy, I guess, does not understand what a sugar tit is. It's anyway, if you don't know what a sugar tit is, you need to look it up. Pauline is the one who supports Guy McPherson. Without Pauline, Guy McPherson would be in the same financial straits that he is. His entire life is mooching off of Pauline. He's been, you know, he lives down in her 57-acre little paradise down there in Belize, and now she's moving him up to Westchester County, the single, I think it's, somebody's told me Westchester County is the single most affluent county in the United States. So I guess Pauline is moving her little boy, her little spoiled brat, taking, you know, just supporting him up in Westchester County. You know, she flies him all over the planet and for their easy jet vacations. So yes, Pauline is Guy McPherson's deep pockets little sugar tit. This is, the word sugar tit is not a pejorative term. I'm just making a description of what Pauline is to Guy McPherson. I actually like Pauline. I kind of have the hots for Pauline, if you want to know the truth. Someday, if I get really drunk and when I am ready to really, the last video I am ever going to make on Humpty Dumpty Tribe, I am going to tell the story of what happened in the mud hut after the famous Hambone Littletail Guy McPherson interview. I assure you, when Hambone Littletail tells the story of what went down in the mud hut after that interview, it will be probably the greatest, the most number of hits of any Humpty Dumpty Tribe video. There's many people begging Hambone Littletail to share with the Doomosphere the night that Hambone was visiting Guy and Pauline and whoever that little girl was in there. Whoever, there was some little well, I don't know how old that girl was. I guess she was about 24. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. I'm getting off, and I am not about to give away the Hambone Guy Pauline secrets of what went down in the mud hut after that interview. And that's when Guy really pisses me off. I will come back with that story. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to, when I mentioned Guy's comment to me, this is the... Guy does not email me back anymore. I don't know why, Guy McPherson. I regularly email Guy McPherson. So let's see. What was the email I just sent to Guy McPherson after that comment about Hambone Littletail being a horrible person? Guy, I really needed that boost on this depressing winter day. I was about one step away from dumping Humpty Dumpty Tribe forever, but you have given me the boost to weather on. I would not have this channel without you, and I probably would not have had it much longer without your undying encouragement. Please keep the cards and letters coming onward through the fog, amigo. And once again, guys, all joking aside, I owe more to Guy McPherson than any human on the planet as far as Humpty Dumpty Tribe. There probably would not be a Humpty Dumpty Tribe if it was not for Guy McPherson, his undying dedication to keeping my name alive in the Doomosphere. Anyway, let's get some more love letters. I don't believe it. Vicky Nelson, I cannot believe it, Vicky, that your comment has not been deleted. It will be. It will be after this video. So this is Vicky. I listened to it, meaning the video I made, and the quote is from one of Hambone's subscribers' letters, and he himself, meaning Hambone, defends Paul. I cannot believe that comment is survived. But Vicky, you can be sure that comment will be gone. Let's see. Oh, here's Scott Andrews. Scott Andrews is one of my tribes members. Well, I think he is. I don't know. Maybe not. Scott Andrews, I am still subscribed to his YouTube channel and saw this piece of garbage. He just uploaded a very disturbing 1-hour video. I am sure it is going to be flagged and pulled. I could only handle a few minutes of it. That's the video that I put up Friday night. I think it has about 1,300 hits and about, let's see, let me go check it. Where is that video by now anyway? Let me go check in. I haven't checked into that video since yesterday. Where are we? Got to go through all of this shit with this new improved YouTube. Okay, how many? Let's see, where is it? All right, that video that he's referring to from Friday night, a depressed collapsitarian tries to stick his head back up his formerly clueless ass. 1,312 views, 46 thumbs up, 13 thumbs down, 193 comments. That's the one they're talking to. It is basically of a guy videoing himself getting drunk. I had, over the course of 1 hour, that was my first drink Friday night. Over the course of 1 hour, I sipped one shot of tequila. That is Hambone getting drunk. Let's see. Oh, we're still hearing from Vicky. Still talking about the great the great disappearance of Sandy Shellis going missing by the deep state. And then, of course, here is Guy's regular line coming in again. He, meaning me, is a serial liar. Guy McPherson has been calling me a serial liar. Guy McPherson, who is the serial liar of the Doomosphere, has for years been labeling me a serial liar. And to this day, neither Guy McPherson nor one other of his little ass-licking toadies has ever sent me one example where one time in 8 years that Hambone Littletail has lied. Not one time has Guy McPherson or one of his little ass-licking toadies, the only exception being, of course, when I keep saying I'm never going to mention Guy McPherson's name on this channel again, and then he keeps slinging shit at me. So once again, I invite Guy McPherson or any one of his little ass-licking toadies to send me one example of when I've been a serial liar. Guy McPherson knows goddamn well. Now, I've spent years pointing out over and over and over again where Guy McPherson is a fucking liar. I just did it on a video recently on, what's that, A Head in the Box or whatever those guys, I'm sorry guys, you know, where Guy McPherson kind of, they're spewing his shit, talking this bullshit about Peter Wadhams. And I sent it to Peter Wadhams. And I said, what do you think of this? And I got this email back that he's lying. He's out there just lying about Peter Wadhams. Just what? I mean, the man, the guy has no interest in facts, in truth, or whatever. He just has his little cult of these ass-licking toadies. And whatever Guy McPherson says is true to these little fucking ass-licking toadies. Like, like Seymour Rocks and Kevin Hester, and go on with the list. Hambone is a serial liar. Okay, Guy, I am still waiting for you to send one iota of evidence that in 8 years and almost 6,000 videos, Hambone Littletail, even though he's a fictional character, I don't need to lie. Okay, but anyway, guys, this goes on and on and on. You can go over to, I guess, Seymour Rocks. And, let's see, not sure what his deal is. Do not trust him. Now, Nancy Hope. Now, Nancy, I admit, Nancy and I have had some little up and downs ourselves, but I see Nancy is defending me. Nancy, I hope you don't get kicked off of Seymour Rocks' page. So what does Nancy have to say? I don't see what the complaint is. Sam, or Hambone, this was a Hambone Littletail video. This was not a Sam Mitchell video. This was a Hambone Littletail video. Anyway, Sam mentions that Paul looks a little under the weather, and frankly, I also think Paul looks a bit stressed recently. This is concern, not criticism. Thank you very much, Nancy. This is concern, not criticism. And then Lindsay Howell, I think he was quoting someone who had commented, but he is of no interest. There you go. Let's see. Okay. Here's a comment I agree with. Kudos for Paul Beckwith with his revolution. Now, of course, Guy McPherson has completely trashed Paul Beckwith many times. If you want to hear someone trash talking Paul Beckwith, good Lord, I have posted videos about Guy McPherson talking all kinds of trash about Paul Beckwith. You listen to my own interview I had with him. He was trashing Paul Beckwith when I was interviewing him in the Mud Hut. He is on record many times trashing Paul Beckwith. I have never trashed Paul Beckwith in my entire life. Guy McPherson, many times. It's easy to find. If anybody wants examples of Guy McPherson talking trash about Paul Beckwith, I will be glad to dig those up for you. I like this one. Isn't he a believer that the earth is flat? Pauline asking Seymour, has he reported the video to YouTube? Okay, so here's Kevin Hester. Let's see. We're going to finish with this comment from Kevin. It's chopped off, so I can't read it all. Yep, I've heard him slander Pauline as well. He can be a complete asshole, misogynist, racist. Maintaining our sanity as the great unraveling gains momentum will be very difficult. If anyone is cracking up, it is Sam Mitchell. I will certainly agree with you, brother, on that statement. If anyone is cracking up, it is Sam Mitchell, not our much respected Paul Beckwith. The same Paul Beckwith that your little hero is trashed many times, Kevin. Hambone asked me to interview him on Nature's Bat Last, and I declined due to his gratuitous attacks on Guy. What he's responding to is a very, very sarcastic email that I sent him when he took over Nature Bats Last. Because, see, when I interviewed Kevin last summer, he was talking about how that he was really looking forward to interviewing me. And then Guy McPherson ran into that little bit of trouble when was that? In September of last year, when Guy McPherson had that little bit of trouble. All we have to say, well, we're not even going to go into that. And Guy McPherson had to get rid of Nature Bats Last and passed it off to Kevin Hester. And when Kevin intercepted Nature Bats Last from Guy McPherson as a complete joke, I asked, when is our interview going to be? Which is another way of saying that I knew goddamn well that he was too much of a cowardly little chicken shit to ever interview me. But Kevin, even after that, he continues to advertise his videos, his Nature Bats Last videos, on Humpty Dumpty Tribe. The guy is an unbelievable little whore. So this is my email I just sent to Kevin Hester. I'm not expecting a letter. Let's see. Goodbye, you weaselly little whore. Oops, I misspelled weaselly. obviously you have burned all bridges to using my channel as a platform to advertise your videos, you weaselly little slime bag. I really thought you had some balls. Once again, I was mistaken. Keep up the good fight without me, brother. Give Guy my love when you get his cock out of your mouth long enough. Oh, I just heard back from Hester. Hester is telling me to have a great extinction. Same to you, brother. Have a great extinction. And I am so sorry to have to lose respect for Kevin Hester. You know, obviously, guys, I knew that Kevin Hester was never going to interview Hambone Littletail, but I let him go use this channel to advertise his own videos. And we've been emailing back and forth up until today, very politely. Our friendship is now over. I can throw Kevin Hester on the Guy McPherson garbage heap. So Kevin, just whenever you want to deprogram yourself out of the cult of the serial liar Guy McPherson, and you want to grow a pair of fucking balls and get your backbone back, we'll keep the light on for you over here at Humpty Dumpty Tribe. And we're going to end up with Pauline. He is definitely cracked. Yes. And then she shares his YouTube comment about her, calling her Guy McPherson's deep pockets little sugar tit, because that's exactly what she is. It is so vulgar. People don't realize what a sick person Sam Mitchell really is. There you go. All right, Jan Wiley, we really are going to wind it up here. Take it away, Jan Wiley. Dear, 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 as my 93-year-old landlady would say. So there you go. Anyway, one more time, I want to extend a sincere thank you to Seymour Rocks and Guy McPherson for giving me my long overdue laugh, helping me get out of the worst depression I have been in years, and giving me just the boost I need to keep on keeping on with Humpty Dumpty Tribe as the fictional character Hambone Littletail will keep stirring up shit on YouTube. Guy McPherson, you don't believe this, brother, but I really do love you. I don't know where I would be without you. You are a big part of my life, Guy McPherson. Just keep on doing what you're doing, brother, and I will never be at a loss for words, although until you start smearing my name around the doomosphere with your completely unfounded charges, I'm never going to mention your fucking name again, brother, until you mention mine. So as long as you want me to keep making videos about you, every time that you want Hambone Littletail to do a Guy McPherson video, you just do you just come on and talk trash about a fictional character named Hambone Littletail, and Hambone Littletail will be glad to have the clickbait. Thank you very much for the clickbait, and I'm going to take full advantage of it now. Keep up the good fight, Guy McPherson. Love you, brother. Onward through the fog. Bye, guys. Hi, guys. Well, it is a gorgeous night here in the end times in paradise. And we are somewhere outside of West Bumblefuck, New Mexico. And guys, Humpty Dumpty Tribe hero history is being made here tonight. Whoever would have thought this night was going to happen out of the blue? Guys, it is my great pleasure to introduce from right here in the Mud Hut a moment that was this ever going to happen? The universe has put it together. Guy McPherson, guys, it has happened.
Who'd ever thunk?
Who would have ever thunk it?
You know, and especially when, as you pointed out yesterday, today, it all runs together, that only 4 of your 32 videos when you mentioned me, only 4 did you actually insult, disparage, and slander me. So only 4, with a record like that, why would
a lot of people are 28 out of 32, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway,
a lot of people are none for 32. Those are the people I generally talk to.
That's true. It's and guys, all right, we're gonna. I'm gonna break from the normal Humpty Dumpty Tribe tradition of the interview. I'm gonna turn this over to Guy McPherson. I don't know if Guy has ever watched one of my videos since the day this man was born. I have no clue what this man actually knows about me on any level.
I watched parts of 1 or 2.
What he's watched parts of 1 or 2 of my 5,000 videos in the past 8 years.
Do you have as many as Paul Beckwith?
I have a lot more than Paul. I have 5.
That's something, because near as I can tell, all he does is walk around shooting himself with his own videos.
I have 5,000 of these. And I'm not going to repeat anything I've ever said. Anybody who knows me knows there have been a few moments in my 8-year history that I have that I have become exasperated with this man, and I'm not.
So what was the worst?
Guy.
What was the worst?
I want you to whatever you want to do, brother. This is your opportunity.
What I want to do is have you tell me what's the worst exasperation you experienced in my direction.
The worst exasperation, I think, and I've apologized. I've only called him a fucking idiot one time in my life, and I did apologize. Just as this man, when he called me an asshole, he apologized. When I called him a fucking idiot, I did come back and apologize for it.
I apologize for that?
You did.
Wow.
You wrote a very nice apology, like to me after you called me an asshole and put me on the map. I was a complete unknown, even more of an unknown than I am now. And then Guy McPherson called me an asshole. And when I first started this channel, and I went from like my usual 50 views a day to 7,000 views. And so for 8 years, I've been trying to provoke this man to call me an asshole again, to get 7,000 hits on one of my, and he's never done it.
Well, you're
as hard as I've tried, but I've only tried 3 more times.
Yeah. Well, I stopped watching.
There you go.
After the first time you called, after the first, that was enough.
No, when I called you a fucking idiot, Guy, was when you said.
No, we don't have to relive that part.
Yeah, okay. It's all on record. It's all on record.
Right. Anybody wants to know why I'm a fucking idiot?
They can go.
But almost everybody thinks I'm a fucking idiot, so it's not like you're in special territory.
I do not think this, but clearly, guys, this man is not a fucking idiot. This guy is one of my Humpty Dumpty Tribe heroes. Every time I introduce, even when I'm slandering this man, I state for the record, and that's the only reason I let this man exasperate me as much as he does, is because he truly gets it. But Guy McPherson, if you have anything you want to say to me or anyone on this channel who disparages you,
I don't even look, because you know your channel is just emblematic of every other channel out there in terms of people not coming to grips with evidence. Essentially, every statement I make is backed up by evidence, and I include the link or the whole article or whatever. And still, I'm subject to all this horrible name calling experience and all this. He's making things up. Kind of, come on, let it go. So that's the part that drives me crazy. And your channel, like almost every other channel, has. Sometimes I use the line about civilizations. A few thousand years ago, we had never experienced any civilization ever. There was never any stored grain grown, stored, and distributed at large scale. So for the first 2.8 million years of the genus Homo on the planet, no civilizations. And then a few thousand years ago, they started popping up like trolls on YouTube. And when I say trolls on YouTube, I think of your channel every time. So I think that's a compliment.
That on some level, on some level, that is a compliment.
So
keep on, guy. Come on, guy. You know you need to get riled up.
No.
He would not let me. Guy would not let me get a shot of tequila. I really wanted to prime the pump with a couple of shots of tequila, but he's not going for it.
No, I quit drinking a long time ago, and I only do it now as part of the show when I'm on the road. And I'm not on the road now, and this isn't part of the show. This is just a casual conversation. So let's talk about how you got here to this point, to this magnificent room in the mud hut, which is for sale, by the way, if anybody's looking for an opportunity out there.
Talk to me. I'm a realtor. Talk to me, and we will sell you this place.
So yesterday, I'm just sitting here minding my own business.
This morning.
Actually, was it this morning?
It was this morning that I waltzed into your life out of the blue.
Unbelievable. And so I'm just minding my own business, and who walks in the door but Hambone Littletail?
Your nemesis.
And Pauline and Sarah are right behind him, but I don't know what the hell's going on. This guy just walks in. Hey, Hambone, how you doing?
He gave me a hug. All right, here we go, guys.
Come on in, I guess, is sort of what I said.
And the first thing we did, within 5 seconds of our eyes meeting, I gave this man a hug, just to let him know.
We can be civil.
We can be civil.
Congenial about the whole thing. But I was just a little surprised to have you darken my door without any warning. And of course you found out from that...
What if I had called? Would you have said come on over or not?
Yeah, you don't have my number.
That's true.
I suspect I would have said come on over. I mean, as you saw, people just stop by in droves and find us in Belize and find me here. I entertained at least hundreds, probably 1,000 people here in the 7 years I was living here full time. Who just came to visit. So I'm always open to a conversation with anybody. Apparently.
Including me. If you have reduced your level, your bar, if you have lowered your bar to hit Hambone Littletail,
my standard was always that low. That's what I'm saying.
Man, I mean, you've gone from Bill Nye to Hambone Littletail. You are on your star has fallen.
People say about academics all the time that they fight over the least important issues because the stakes in academia are just that small. So I have a long history of dealing with egotistical assholes. Was that the word?
That's the first word you ever used to describe me.
I have a long history of
dealing with egotistical
types like this. Yes, exactly. That's all of the academy. And it's every person in a tenured faculty position.
Well, I am not in a
present company excluded. I know, but what I'm saying is I had a lot of practice before I came across you.
So I'm just a little. By the time I darkened your door,
you're more of the same, man.
I'm just a little gnat for the rock star of doom to slap down.
And it's not like I want us to go extinct as a species. I have a lot of individuals who I can point to, obviously, like all of us.
Does that include me or not? Do you want me to go extinct?
I'm no comment at this point. I can name names, but I won't name yours. After all,
you can name any name. It is wide open.
You get to do the editing.
I don't do editing on mine.
Oh, you can do an intro. You can do a follow-up. I'm going to try to remain civil.
You can get as uncivil as you want to, brother.
This is as uncivil as I want to be.
You can
I'm taking my advice here from Henry David Thoreau.
Okay.
One of my heroes.
Yeah.
In terms of the civility with which I act. even towards you.
But of course he has crossing the Rubicon in the mud hut next door.
I think Sarah's borrowing that from Pauline, actually. Did you borrow it from me?
You. Yeah, you.
Oh, okay.
I already read it anyway.
Alright, whatever. I have a lot of books. I have maybe 2,000 or 3,000 volumes here.
I bet you have some good Bibles of the Apocalypse that I need to read.
And they're just stored away because when I was creating this place, this homestead in southern New Mexico, I thought that I was going to live forever with my...
We all do.
Right. With my now ex-wife. I thought we were going to live here at least until we were 100 years old. And all we had to do was dismantle civilization. And we'd be able to keep this
And now it's for
healthy
sale.
planet going. And then along comes 2013, and I hear about the worst case scenario with respect to the absence of global dimming when civilization collapses. And I was done then. I basically gave up the gardening and growing trees in the orchard that I'd been doing for, well, since 2007 till 2013.
Now, I'm going to tell a story on Guy. If you know our tribe's member, Brother Mark Johns, we had 400 pounds of homegrown organic apples. 20 miles from here is the Hobbit House. 400 pounds of organic homegrown apples that we just picked today. And you have store-bought apples in your refrigerator?
And you showed up with how many as a gift?
They weren't my apples.
Oh, none. Right? Did I get that right? You
They weren't my
could
apples.
pick 3 apples off a fucking tree to give to the 3 of us?
I picked about 12,000 apples off of a tree today since you saw me this morning, but you need to talk to Mark about this 400 pound
It's
apple.
not me, it's somebody else's
But his
apples.
apples come from the store. Anyway, just pointing that out.
Well, when I was on the way here,
Yeah.
I didn't know if there would be apples on the trees, and sure enough, there aren't. Here at the mud hut, no apples this year.
There's no apples here. They're
Nope.
20 miles from here. Mark's getting 400 pounds per tree.
Yeah, well, we're just a couple of miles downriver from where the Gila River
Yeah.
changes from its canyon phase, which is how it's been its entire life in the wilderness, and then it spills out into this little valley. And the cold air drainage that slams into us here makes it 10 degrees Fahrenheit colder every night than it is 4 miles downriver at the official weather station. So it's really cold here. So that's why we don't have any apples in the tree this year. It's actually...
It's at 20 miles from here. There's 400 pounds per tree. And
Yeah, exactly. In fact, probably 5 miles further downriver from here,
yeah.
there's lots of apples in the tree.
So
it's
what's the takeaway message from all this, guys?
takeaway message is in the midst of abrupt climate change, when we're all truly fucked. If you could have brought me an apple, that would have been sort of a show of peace. Oh no! That's not the take-home message.
I put 12,000 apples in the back of Mark's gas sucking truck. You talked to Brother Mark about we had 8 50-pound boxes.
The message here, my message here,
What is your
remains the
message?
same as always.
Which is?
In the midst of the 6th mass extinction on planet Earth, in the midst of abrupt climate change, leading to human extinction within a very short period of time. At the edge of extinction, only love remains, and that's why we're having this conversation.
It must be for. So, all kidding aside, guys, whoever
I wasn't
thought
kidding about that.
whoever thought this would have happened. This man has been nothing but absolutely gracious to me since the moment I walked in this door, and
So I've held it together for 10 or 12 hours.
you've held it together. Not only
We took
it's
a
been
break
about
of
we've
about
known each other for
9 or
about
10
7 hours, but we had to take 5 hours apart.
That was a nice break too, I gotta say.
So we're not gonna talk about what happened during the break.
Oh, did you interview someone?
I've been picking apples today. I don't know what you've been up to today.
I went to
bro.
town and ran a few errands and ran into people who don't really appreciate me. But that happens everywhere, as it turns out.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
You
I know
know,
that
hey,
feeling.
aren't you Guy McPherson? Yes, I am. I hate you.
Okay, now, I just heard you pronounce your name Guy McPherson.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Well, how do you pronounce your damn name,
You didn't
brother?
really hear that. See, your hearing's going, you're 58 years old. I understand.
Is your name McPherson or
Yes.
McPherson?
It's
And how come you
McPherson.
just said McPherson when you were
I just
talking?
wanted to start this conversation to completely distract our watchers.
Because this seems to be a major controversy.
I know. People love to have it. People love to pronounce it McPherson.
Because
spell
of
it
your-
fear.
Yeah,
because of my message,
yeah,
right?
I get it, I get it.
Even though my message is no fear, no hope. There's the twin sides of the I don't know the future coin. Technically, as is pointed out to me all the time when I run into people from Scotland, it's pronounced McPherson. But I heard it my whole life. McPherson, McShutTheFuckUpson, all kinds of things. So I
But
tell
what
people-
is it? It's McPherson. I've been
McPherson. Yeah, McPherson technically, but I grew up pronouncing it McPherson, pronouncing it incorrectly, McPherson.
You've been pronouncing your own name because
Exactly.
I ran into a shall we say a former friend of yours, and I got in this argument with this man yesterday about how you pronounce your name, and I said, God damn it, I know how he pronounces his name. It's McPherson,
Uh-huh.
and I got it.
When I'm at my best behavior, when I have time to think about it, I pronounce it McPherson, but 57 years of cultural programming has me pronouncing my own name incorrectly. That's a sad testimony. Actually, it's a sad testimony to the entire culture. But my dad always pronounced it McPherson. My mom always pronounced it McPherson. So this is what I heard growing up. And then it was pointed out to me, I don't know, 5 or 10 years ago that that's not right.
Some pronounce it extinction.
Oh, yes.
Extinction.
It's Dr. McStinction to you, Missy.
Extinction. I have not heard that one.
Oh, yeah. I was introduced to the terms. I was on tour. This was 4 or 5 years ago. And I'm chatting. I don't remember who it was with. And this woman says, you probably know this already, but I think it's hilarious. I don't know how you take it. But do you know what people call you? People's nickname for you? And I said, well, there's a lot of nicknames for me. And most of them we can't say.
What's the best
on
one?
the air. And she says, I think this is funny. I'm sure you've heard this before. Everybody around here calls you Guy McStinction.
Makes sense.
And I just
I like it.
laughed out loud.
I've never heard it. I like it. I like it. I like it.
I'd never heard it before. She assumed that I'd heard it, that I was familiar with it. That was the first time I heard it. I thought it was awesome.
My favorite for me is hairball. So, well, we got the HB right. So it's usually T-bone that people are calling me, but hairball was my personal favorite. What's that?
Nobody calls you Sandbone?
Well, yeah, some people do because my name is. By the way, guys, my name is Sam. So anyway, for people who do not know this about me, not many people know what my
pushing
real
it
name
together, Sam and Hambone, Sandbone.
So you never took a pen name.
I did, actually. My first work of fiction was published under the name Mac Brothers.
Oh, really? What was that?
My brother and I were both called Mac when we were kids growing up.
Okay.
Because last name McPherson.
Okay.
So we were both called Mac, and we collaborated on this book, which is called Academic Pursuits. And
It's a fictional book
Yeah.
called Academic Pursuits. There you go.
And basically, I wrote it as therapy when I took.
How old were you?
It was 1999, 2000 when I took that leave of absence. So I was 39 and 40. I started writing when I was 40. It was published probably when I was 42 or 43. And I took a leave of absence from the University of Arizona. Went and became the inaugural director of the Smith Conservation Program with the Nature Conservancy. And I thought I would discover people who were really passionate about environmentalism. And
At the Nature Conservancy.
yeah, the Nature Conservancy, and I found out that really it was just more of the same. It's all about the money. So here it is, Academic Pursuits.
By
So
the
I
Mac
wrote
Brothers, right there.
I wrote this as therapy because it didn't turn out like I thought it would. Like I was idealistic about how it turned out. I thought
Give
it
us
was,
the 50-word summation of academic pursuits. Read the back. cover.
observant visitors to college campuses are frequently surprised, amused, or aghast at the cultural environment.
I am to this day.
Yet
Yes.
few books describe university life with honesty and humor. academic pursuits follows the trials and tribulations of a dedicated professor at a major university, professor of journalism Gary Peterson, and that field was chosen because my brother is a journalist, was a practicing journalist, and then became a professor of mass communications at a small liberal arts college. So we had something in common there. But his efforts are confounded by his own political ineptitude. That's all me.
That was all you, not your brother.
Absolutely. Political ineptitude. Political shenanigans, personal illness, and the general chaos of life on campus constantly interfere with his sincere efforts to balance his obsession with work with his love for life.
There you go.
And I'm in the same place today, by the way, as I was when this book was published in 2006.
Oh,
so I wrote
you
it.
got a new one.
I wrote it in
You can get it on
2000.
Amazon? Amazon.com or not?
I have no idea where to find it.
Yes.
Amazon? There you go. All right.
All right, Amazon.com.
And
we have a new one.
And I think it's kind of
Never heard
funny.
of that.
And it's
How are
pretty,
you and your brother getting along now?
pretty thinly veiled account of me and my professorial life and my leave of absence to go try something different. Because that's what the protagonist does as well. He just discovers that his idealism is unfounded.
So you and your brother did write this together?
Well, I wrote it. He edited it heavily and pointed out to me that I got the journalism parts right and got this part wrong and blah, blah, blah. So it was really a collaborative effort. I did most of it. But he was really good at something called merge-matics. These things are hilarious, by the way. You merge two movie titles or book titles and then write a short description of it. So, for example, the first merge-matic here is Night of the Living Dead Poets Society.
I get it.
So
Yeah.
Night of the Living Dead Poets
yeah.
Society. And then the description is, a mid-career professor in the humanities continuously relives the same poor performance in the classroom, as much to his own chagrin as that of his students. So that's the plot of the Night of the Living Dead Poets
So
Society.
how many copies of this book have you sold? Guy, are you keeping tabs?
Oh no.
Where do you
I
place
never
them?
did. I've never kept tabs of any of the books I sold. And you know, all my recent publishers have gone extinct. They've all gone bankrupt. So I haven't seen a royalty payment for at least 3 years, probably.
Do you
longer.
have a new book in the works?
I do, and if the phrase Dummy's Guide weren't copyrighted,
Yeah.
it would be Dummy's Guide to Extinction. Or Dummy's
Well,
Guide to Human Extinction.
Extinction for Dummies.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be, so.
So are you
that's
working
the
on that
general
now?
idea. Yeah, and it's a short version of my message with a profound emphasis not on the science, but on how we respond to the terminal diagnosis. So the working title at this point is the same as the working title of Pauline's next documentary film. It's Only Love Remains, Dancing at the Edge of Extinction.
That's after the colon?
Yeah. Dancing at the Edge of Extinction is after the colon.
So explain dancing at the edge of extinction.
Well,
The 5 or 6 people listening to this.
there's several responses to our terminal diagnosis. We all received a terminal diagnosis at birth. Most of us realize that by the time we're 12 years old. How do you act in light of that diagnosis? Some people, especially later in their lives, if they receive a reminder of the terminal diagnosis, some people become depressed. Some people go through Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's 5 stages of grief.
I'm halfway through.
And some people live more fully and actually dance. So dancing at the edge of extinction is one response, the response that I've chosen to take. So you can throw all the shit at me you want. You can disparage me, you can libel me, you can slander, you can do character assassination. And people have been doing that with great aplomb for the last
But
few
it keeps
months.
your name in the limelight.
I wanted to retire. I wanted to step back from the public eye, and apparently somebody didn't think that was a great idea for me. So I'm back in the public eye and defending myself, but at the same time, I'm dancing. I'm spending my time with lovely people like Sarah and Pauline and the people I meet on the road,
I noticed my name was not mentioned in that.
and dancing with the people I love, spending the time in Belize and the homestead with the people I love, and living joyously with the time we have. And that's been, if you look through history, that's been a common response by people who received terminal diagnosis, is that they live more fully, they dance more, they breathe more, they smell the smells they never smelled before, the sweet smells that they were never noticed before. And so that's my response. And so this next book, which is going to be short, maybe 35,000 words, is my description of how I'm doing that, and maybe serving as an example for how other people can do that as well.
All right.
Although so far,
Now I remember, I think it was about 1 year. I would have to look it up. I bet it was pretty close to 1 year ago. My rant was, "Is this Guy McPherson's suicide note?"
oh yeah, that's when.
Is that one of the two you listened to?
That was when I wrote, and it was just.
And
over
it
a
sounded
year
like you were signing off. I honestly
Right.
did not know if you were getting ready to go Michael Rupert on
Right,
this.
right. Even though I said in the essay that this is not a suicide note.
Was that the one
Well-
that you're almost done? Yeah.
Yes.
Almost done, yeah.
So,
Yeah. And so,
but you acted like we were never going to hear from you again, brother.
well,
So-
that's coincident with my move to Belize, and that's what I wanted to do. And
Had
then-
you already moved when you wrote that? That like signing off, like you were already down there,
Yeah.
right? It was about a
It
year
was,
ago.
it was in August.
Oh,
it was-
oh yeah,
August
that's
or
right. 'Cause,
September.
yeah, I was okay. Yeah, I was.
So I
it
had
was
been in
September.
Belize for a while,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah,
discovered that the telecommunications network was terrible, so I wasn't able to update my essay, my long climate change summary and update essay. It's now 32,000 words or something like that. So
Well,
I
you
just
had that
stopped.
attached to the. You had your smaller, which sounded kind of like a suicide note,
Right.
and then you said.
Right.
This is the
Basically-
last time I've said every way we can say we are so fucked, and
Exactly.
there's no more ways I can say it. I'm signing off, and that was a year and 2 months ago, and we haven't been able to shut the man up since.
Right. And in fact,
So what happened?
In fact, over the course of the next year,
Yeah.
I almost doubled my output
I know it.
because I just discovered that when I relaxed and didn't put a deadline on myself and didn't post every 2 days, as I'd been doing for a couple of years,
Yeah.
that I actually was inspired to write more frequently and write more meaningfully, I think, about the terminal diagnosis. So I sort of pulled back again, or said I would, a couple of months ago, and I thought that time I was serious about it. And then the character assassination endeavors began, so I've been spending way too much time trying to point out that people are not actually guilty until proven innocent, and that I've given a lot of evidence indicating that all of that bullshit that people like Mike Sleva and Corey Morningstar and Derek Jensen and Forrest Palmer, and I can name a whole bunch more names, are spewing, is just abject lies.
You notice, guys, my name was not I'm
Right, this is the wrong.
My name is for once not on this list.
Lierre Keith, Keith
I-
Harvin
I-
Snow. No,
I
you're not
have-
on that list.
I have publicly proclaimed my position on this.
So those people drew me back in because I felt an obligation to defend myself. And the attorneys that Pauline hired to work on my behalf said that I was certainly right, that they all broke the law.
Guys, I'm going to let the man go on here. This
So-
you have your
So
steel.
soon I think I'm going to take seriously my own retirement. You know, I've actually concluded the terminal diagnosis. I don't think I have 2 years, perhaps only a year, because of an ice-free Arctic.
Now, guy, okay, all right, can I?
And so what this means for me is I need to scale back and spend time doing things I love with the people I love. And that has nothing to do with me defending my so-called honor to a bunch of liars and hypocrites. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to try.
I love doing this before a live studio audience. Thank you all
Yes,
very much.
as I say, with the 5 or 6 people on the planet listening to this conversation. Now, I want you to give me a little bit of credit that it was back in June, before he ever went on the fucking Gary Null show, that you told me, we were talking about me coming down to Belize, and you said that I needed to, I was saying, well, I'll come down there in January, and you were telling me, well, Hambone, you ain't gonna coming down here in January because we're all fucked by October. Well, it's now November. So what happened?
So,
I mean, I'm very glad you were wrong, brother. I'm glad you're not extinct. But what happened?
What I tell people personally,
okay,
not for on the air.
well, so you're on the air. So before you say this, before you say this, you're on the air.
I know I'm on the air.
Okay.
But that was a private conversation between the two of us.
And
not to be shared in public.
And I did
like you've just done. By the way.
But you've come out on the Gary Knoll show and with Sandy. So you've come out publicly with it.
No. What I told you and what I told them was very different. What I told them was something like, I can't imagine we have beyond October. What I told you was more affirmative. I was making a prediction, a personal prediction to you. And it was a personal note. What I was saying in public with Gary Knoll and with Sandy Scholas was that I'm pretty strong, I'm pretty convinced that we're headed for an ice-free Arctic this year. But I did not make the prediction like I did with you personally. And so what I do with people individually, personally, is I go deeper and I present what I think is a more dire outcome than what I present in public, believe it or not. And so in public, I said, I feel pretty strongly that we are not going to have ice in the Arctic Ocean, or at least we're going to have less than 1 million square kilometers of ice in the Arctic Ocean in September. And I was stunned that it didn't happen. I was absolutely stunned because
I was pretty stunned too.
You start looking at it in June, and then you look at it in July.
So what happened?
And the refreeze began sooner than expected, sooner than it's ever done in recorded history. So the refreeze started early. Interestingly, October didn't add any more volume through the whole month.
So it's just holding steady.
It's just holding steady.
Yeah.
The multi-year ice is effectively gone. We were one storm away, one serious storm away from removing all the Arctic ice, and I'm pleasantly surprised that we made it through another year.
We are very pleasantly surprised we did too. So what's your prediction for next October? Are you going to go there publicly on this right now for the 5 or 6 people listening to this?
That's why I said I suspect we have a year or two.
Okay, so I'm going to have to go back and listen to your Gary Knoll and your Sandy.
Because I'm very careful in what I say, and people turn that around on me all the time and say, he made this prediction, and I didn't. Listening comprehension is very poor in this culture.
There you go, especially after a couple of margaritas.
You know, there's the paper in Earth and Planetary Sciences, the review paper from 2012, predicting an ice-free Arctic in 2016 plus or minus 3 years. So I'm stunned we've dodged 5 bullets. Can we dodge 2 more? I would be stunned again. And we're going into this next year with into the refreeze season, and the refreeze is falling apart already, with really, really low ice volume. And ice volume is critical here, far more important than area extent. So I suspect that next year, or the year after that, 2018 or 2019, which fits into the 2016 plus or minus 3 years, it's difficult for me to imagine. And here again, I'm not making predictions. It's difficult for me to imagine we get to 2019.
Is not making a prediction.
But other people
it's difficult to imagine.
Paul Beckwith and Peter Wadhams are making that prediction for an ice-free Arctic. And they don't think that we're as screwed as I think we are in light of that ice-free Arctic. But they are making that prediction. So I think we don't have long, that's my point. And so I'm trying to live more fully in what I think is a very short time we have left. And especially me living where I live, so close to the equator. You know, during heating events, habitat is lost first at the equator, and the poles hold out life a little bit longer.
So why are you choosing to live down there instead of where Paul Beckwith died?
Well, I'm making a joke here, just to be clear.
Okay.
I'm not living where Paul Beckwith does because Paul Beckwith is there.
That was Guy McPherson humor, Paul. In case I ever interview you, this is his rant. This is not mine, Paul. In case you're listening.
Again, once I found out about global dimming and how powerful it is, and how much the planet will heat up after the system implodes, and you, like I, have this feeling that it's not long into the future before the system implodes.
But just for the out of the 5 or 6 people watching this, for the 2 people who don't know what global dimming is, give us just real quickly. Give us the scenario.
At the same time,
about.
industrial civilization puts
Yeah.
greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, which trap heat and hold it close to the surface.
Yeah.
At the same time, industrial civilization does that. Civilization also produces particulates that go up in the sky and act as an umbrella that prevent incoming radiation from even getting into the atmosphere. So, if we take the umbrella down by, most notably, by stopping burning poor quality coal high in sulfates, which puts sulfate or aerosols into the atmosphere. We stop burning those in a matter of weeks, a few weeks, and certainly within a few weeks, all the sulfates fall out and the planet heats up.
So you're saying we should burn more low quality coal?
No, although that's what Michael Manning implied in an interview with Tom Hartman a year or 2 ago. That he says, when asked what do we do, he said, well, we can't stop burning coal. So here's the leading climate scientist in the world
I'll have to.
who encourages us to burn more coal.
Well, wasn't Paul Beckwith encouraging nuclear war between India or Pakistan or not? That's the first thing I want to ask that man.
Well, and he was also suggesting that we fire off hydrogen bombs in the world's deserts.
Yeah,
to
just
put
Sahara
particulates
Desert.
up into the sky.
The anthropogenic volcano.
This is just a few steps beyond.
So Paul, if I
Vietnam.
ever interview you, we're going to talk about the anthropogenic volcano.
So this is a few steps beyond the Vietnam era statement bombing the village to save it. What Paul would have us do is bomb the planet to save it. Seem a little paradoxical?
You know, we got to think outside of the box here. Here in these desperate ends.
So let's think outside the box. Let's think
outside of the box
think
right
outside
here.
the box for a change.
We're going to hatch away right tonight. We're going to hatch away to save the planet.
Let's think outside the
box.
human
Okay, bro.
box.
The human.
We're all about humans. Everybody
are
I
all
talk
about
to
humans.
says we need to save habitat for humans. And like every species goes extinct instead of, including a half a dozen of the species within the genus Homo. Half a dozen of our very closest relatives have already gone extinct.
Yes, sir.
And so why is it all about us? Of course we're going to go extinct. Of course it'll be faster than we expect, because look at the sort of behavior that people practice. Like the people I was talking about in the restaurant today. Of course we're going to go extinct. We're mean. We're incredibly self-absorbed. We don't think about any other species. We think nothing. What do we call those other species? We call them resources. We call everything a resource.
But you said
it's never a relationship.
Do you or do you not support the extinction of the human race?
Of course not. I've
Oh,
said
really?
this repeatedly.
Oh, I do support it.
I've
So
said
that's the
this
difference between me
repeatedly.
and you.
I'm not a fan of human extinction.
Oh,
I'm a
really?
huge fan of a bunch of people dying, and I'm not going to give you that list, by the way, because then if they show up the dead,
All right, so,
the deep state.
one of these numbers that's always batted around, okay, where do you fall on the Thomas Malthus? How many people can this planet support and have humans coexist with our other fellow Earthlings? You have a number, a
I'm
Thomas
going to do
Malthus.
what I always do, which
Okay.
is refer to the science conducted by somebody else.
Okay, let's hear your
You know,
number.
before civilizations arose,
Yeah.
there was maybe 500,000 or 1 million people on the planet. It's a little hard to tell. Because
So between
nobody's-
500,000 and not 500 million and 1 billion, you're
Yeah.
saying 500,000 to 1 million?
Yeah, and it might have been more. We don't know. Nobody's.
So you
keeping
think
good
that's a
records.
good number?
No,
Oh.
that was before civilization. Since civilization came along and destroyed the topsoil and ruined the water, you can't drink any water anymore.
Yeah.
Certainly not right out of the ground.
I'll
Back
vouch
when
for that, brother.
even when there were 1 billion people on the planet, there were a lot of rivers you could drink right out of. When I was a kid, and I know that you love stories that start like that. When I was a kid, we would stop at a stream and just drink out of a soup can. Somebody
Yeah, I
left
remember.
there on the rock.
We're the same age. I remember.
Almost any stream.
Until we were about 8 years old.
Yeah, and then
all
you
that
can't
shit
do that
changed.
anymore.
And it changed
Bingo.
about 50 years ago, didn't it?
And so Paul Chafurka, who has done a fairly detailed analysis of human
Right,
characteristics
what's his, I've
today.
not heard this name. Chafurka?
Chafurka, Chefurka.
Chefurka. Remember that name?
Paul Chafurka.
I'll put him on my list.
He did this analysis, and I think it appeared on his blog, in which he concludes, given the state of the planet today, we can't support anywhere near what we could back in the good old days.
So what's his number?
So I'm trying to remember his number, and it seems like it was in the tens of thousands, plus or minus a few tens of thousands.
Well, Bill Burr is 20,000. Bill Burr says 20,000
You know,
is the ideal
He's
human
a comic.
population.
I'm not sure that has the credentials.
Well, I think he might have been reading the same research you were.
Well, maybe so. In any event, Jafurka initially said 30,000 or something like that, plus or minus 15,000. I don't remember the exact number. So a pretty small number, but then he said, in light of abrupt climate change, we're done. Can't even support that many.
And even them, they're going to be growing bananas at the North Pole or the South Pole.
In what? There's no soil to support growing
In the
bananas.
South Pole.
We're going to take the soil up there from the banana growing. You know, one of the things that most people fail to understand is the intricate relationship between the soil and the microbes and the fungi and the plants. And without that intricate web, you don't have the plants. You can't go stick plants in sand and boom, they're just thriving everywhere. You know, they need a whole bunch of stuff that most people aren't aware they need. So a lot of people think we can just take a banana seed
and stick it into the South Pole in the year 2030.
And 2 years later, we got bananas all over the place. Right? That's not
That ain't gonna happen that way.
No, I don't think so.
Damn it! That was my plan. That was my plan.
Well, and that's sort of the seed vault at Svalbard. That's that plan, right? Things get bad enough, we'll be able to.
What is your opinion of the Doomsday Seed Vault, particularly in light of the news from last year when it flooded after 11 years?
Yeah, you know, one of the things it was designed for, by the way, was climate change. And the first significant climate change event comes along and it just floods the doorway, the passageway into it. Every engineer knows that there's only 3 important principles you need to pay attention to when designing a structure like a road or a building or a seed vault. You know what the 3 are?
Let's hear them.
Drainage, drainage, and drainage.
And we're missing all 3 in the Doomsday Seed Vault. That was one of my favorite stories of. That was a true...
If that's not enough to convince you that we are a clever ape but not a wise ape, and therefore we're going extinct, then what is it going to take?
The melting of the Doomsday Seed Vault, that doesn't pull your head out of your ass, guys. I don't know what. What is it gonna take?
I think
for humanity to pull its head out of its ass.
I think the last human. Before he or she
the
takes
last
the
one
last
on the
breath.
planet. There will be a last human on this planet.
Of course. And
so what's he going to be thinking about?
Let's say it's a man.
Okay, if it's a man, he's going to be thinking about
you know what?
The word he.
He's going to moments before he takes his last breath.
I know what he's thinking about.
He's going to overcome his craniorectal inversion. He's going to pull his head out of his ass.
Yeah.
He's going to look around. He's going to take his last breath, and he's going to deny climate change.
Is that going to be the last?
That's going to be the last thought.
And what if the last human, what I believe is going to be a female? I think the last million humans are all going to be female. So what is the last female on the planet going to be thinking about?
She's going to be going, damn, it's nice without all those men around. Finally have some time to read and do some scholarly work, not being pushed into the kitchen. The dominant culture isn't forcing me to do all these stupid things.
There you go. I am totally convinced that the women will outlive the men on this.
Well, they tend to do that generally anyway.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Anyway, we're all going to die, and people hate it when I tell them that. But they've known that since they were 10, maybe 12. You know, you do that. When? I remember I was 11 when my grandmother died. And I barely knew the woman, but I cried for a while.
That's funny how it's almost identical to my life story,
yeah. And then it took me years to realize I wasn't crying for her. I was crying for me.
Yeah.
Because she reminded me that I too am mortal. I knew that everybody else was, but I didn't think it applied to me. And so she reminded me that I was mortal and made me really sad for a while. But I was 11 and then, I got over it.
So you've gotten over it?
Yeah, I don't... the shit that they spewed my way, some days I welcome that last breath. Just so I could be done with it. And also, I've had a great run. Like you, I've had a great run. We grew up in this period of economic expansion when people who look like us can make money hand over fist, enjoy lives of enormous privilege, without really working terribly hard compared to our ancestors from just a few generations back. So I've had a great run, and I'm living.
Can't complain.
No, not at all. And I'm living very fully. I've had these great experiences. Would I like to live longer? Of course. Doesn't everybody who's reasonably healthy say that? And I'm reasonably healthy. You know, I don't take any pills ever during the day. For a person 57 years old who's about to be 58, that's pretty uncommon. Most people in this culture are popping pills left and right.
I take a sleeping pill every night. I do. I take one every day.
So maybe when I'm, 59 and the Arctic ice has gone away, maybe I'll take 15 or 20 sleeping pills.
Seriously, do you have a suicide pact?
I don't.
You don't?
And it's something that I've been pondering only within the last year, and thinking about it and talking about it with people on the homestead in Belize.
Yeah.
Because there's 6 or 8 adults living there.
And how many of them have a suicide pact?
And there's no suicide pact. There's not even a suicide
No, I mean,
plan.
no, not pact. I mean the pills.
Oh, no. To my knowledge, none.
Oh, no? Because I'm meeting more and more people who, I used to have one, but I no longer do. I let mine go.
Yeah. And so I can easily imagine the day when I want to commit suicide. And one of the things I did here in New Mexico at the Mud Hut was try to grow poppies.
You mean opium poppies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So because all painkillers essentially come from are opiates in one form or another. But I couldn't grow them well here. I never got them to the stage that I could milk them.
I think they would grow great here.
Well, you would think so, and I tried everything I could think of. Anyway, it didn't pan out. So I think about ending my life, something that I haven't done since I was a teenager. I think most people go through that teenage angst, especially the more privileged among us, oddly enough. And we think about suicide, but I wouldn't say it was really serious then. And so for the first time within the last year, I've been thinking about it. What will I do when civilization falls? Probably as a result of an ice-free Arctic, causing that methane burst. So I know that what faces me is an essentially lifeless planet, without trees, and I live in the jungle.
And do you want to hang around for that?
Well, exactly. So I think about it now. Do I really want to hang around to see a lifeless planet?
Wow.
Do I want to live through nights that I can't hear the howler monkeys?
No.
That I can't hear the occasional jaguar growling during the night? And right now I think, no, I don't want to live through that. I don't want to live to see that. But I haven't taken that the next step and come up with a pack of pills that I'm going to take to terminate my life. And part of this is, there's a wonderful book by Sarah Perry called Every Cradle is a Grave, with cover art by Jack Kevorkian, a human skull with an orchid growing up through it.
Do you know, I have it in my car.
Oh, you do?
Do you know that a Humpty Dumpty tribes member, are you believing this, Nona? Your daughter's book is being recommended. I have it in my truck.
Nona writes me all the time.
Yeah, Nona is Sarah's mother.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah.
So Nona gave me that book, and I have it in my car. I have not cracked it because I'm reading The Water Thief instead. She gave me The Water Thief.
Well, we interviewed Sarah Perry for the radio show, and it's a wonderful book that really makes you consider the importance of life, your own life, the importance or lack thereof of bringing more life into the planet. And so it's just very thoughtfully done. And what she does is she goes through some of the reasons we don't regularly commit suicide. She points out that a lot of people would if they weren't afflicted with body envelope issues.
What is a body envelope issue?
Well,
define that term. I haven't heard that one yet.
In this culture, we see images of people getting killed and their body envelope breaks, right? They get shot in the head and commit suicide. And it's all like, ooh, that's nasty. So that's a body envelope issue. Our response to that is, ooh, that's horrible, we're disgusted, we don't want that to happen to us. So she says this is one of the reasons. And there are other reasons. A small but significant number of people who attempt to commit suicide fail.
Including Sarah.
Is that right? I didn't know that.
Nona, are you okay with me saying this?
I don't know that. Let's not go there.
Yeah, really. I mean, I don't know. I'm
So we don't need to go
making
there.
assumptions.
But a significant number, and then their lives are even more miserable than they were before. So they were so miserable they didn't want to live any longer. They tried to kill themselves, and what they do is end up having quadriplegia, for example.
Well,
So now their life was miserable before. Now they can't even walk. They can't even move their arms. So now things are even worse. So she goes through brilliantly with great scholarship a variety of reasons why people don't commit suicide. And I suspect that's what's holding me back as well. Because I've been subject to the dominant paradigm, to the cultural messages my whole life too. And also there's this disdain for people who attempt to commit suicide. In this culture.
You mean in attempt and fail, or attempt and succeed, or it doesn't make any difference?
Both. And especially for those who fail. You're such a failure, you tried to commit suicide, and you're such a failure, you couldn't even get that done. You know, that's
I
like the
think
worst.
people who attempt suicide and fail, they didn't try that hard. I've never attempted, but the first time I attempt suicide,
You're going to succeed.
I'm going to succeed.
Well, if you aren't, how
I mean,
embarrassing,
it's
'cause
going to be
have it
a
on-
Michael. I don't think Michael Rupert attempted and failed.
See, now we have it on record
Uh,
that you're going to be 100% success.
when I'm ready to
If
go,
you fail, can you even imagine the embarrassment?
it would be embarrassing.
And so that's one of the reasons that people don't commit suicide, is because they might actually fail.
He did attempt before.
Michael Rupert?
Mike did.
He did.
Oh, really?
I have no idea.
We'll have to talk about this after. Did you ever know Michael? Did you and he ever get together?
We never met in person. We talked and corresponded frequently. He interviewed me for his radio show, I think 5 times.
But y'all never met personally in person?
No, he called me Saturday night.
The night before?
Yeah.
Wow.
On the phone. And of course, I didn't know he was calling to say goodbye. I was just stepping up to a podium at the University of Rhode
So you
Island.
just had a couple of minutes?
3 minutes, 48 seconds. Because the
Wow.
cell phones keep track of this.
So how were you affected? I mean, I couldn't believe. I mean, it's hard for me to. I mean, I was stunned, guys. I did not see it coming. I did not see it coming. It's very rare for me to break down in tears, but he was a loss. Michael was a loss. I felt like, fuck. You know, if we lose this brother, I mean.
Someday, after he finished the radio show and before he killed himself, there's only about a half an hour in there.
Yeah,
He sent me an email message. So I wasn't terribly surprised when he committed suicide. I was sad, and I was in New York at the time, being hosted on tour by this woman, and we cried.
I don't know why I was only surprised for about 3 minutes. I mean, because after looking at Apocalypse, man, I mean, you were looking, I mean, that dude had the Sword of Damocles, and that was filmed in November,
Yeah.
and he took himself out in April.
Yep.
Guy, you cried like a baby.
All right.
I just said
Guy
I
cried
cried.
like
No,
a
you
baby.
didn't.
She did.
He cried like a baby in my arms.
No, I was very surprised. I mean, I'm not like that.
No.
I broke down, man.
Me
I
neither.
broke
Yeah.
down. Yeah, my best friend in the world, like, you know, she thought, well, my mother had already died. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't have a dog. Like, who could, you know?
This guy?
Oh God, if I ever lose this little guy, no, this little guy, man. He's what keeps me around. This little guy right here.
So anyway, I was deeply moved by Michael Rupert's death. And I had an opportunity to meet with Jack Martin a couple of years ago. That's the place where
Yeah.
Mike was staying outside of Sebastopol. And I was there with my friend Paul Marcotte, who you know, and who you interviewed for this show. And the 3 of us were talking, and so the question came up, did he really commit suicide? And you know, he was very careful. He left all these notes, and it looked, and he signed off differently for his radio show than he ever had before. So it looks like he committed suicide. And Jack Martin said, I was the last person to see him alive. I was the first person to see his brains splattered across the parking lot right there. And I'd say there's at least a 99% chance he committed suicide. But he says, there are dark forces, as we all know.
No, I
look like.
think I'm pretty sure.
They can make look
Yeah.
like something we think. So, even Jack Martin, who's probably closer to him than anybody else on the planet, was withholding that less than 1% chance that he committed suicide. And when you look at how successful his life had turned at the end,
Yeah.
you know, he had a new girlfriend, Jessie Ray. He had just signed a big deal with a media company, and I was going to be his first guest for that show. And so things were really pointed the direction that he'd been wanting to go for a while. And so that gives one pause. I don't doubt that he committed suicide, except for that niggling 0.01%. That nothing is as we think it is, and we can't know the full truth. We just can't.
Oh, what a loss! What a loss!
Absolutely.
His voice and Terrence's and Bill Hicks and George Carlin. Good Lord, we need these voices today, man. This is.
Yeah, these are the social critics of their time, and losing their voices is sad for all of us.
So who's going to fill their shoes?
Is
Guy McPherson going to?
I don't think anybody has feet that big. Mine are size 13. Yeah,
They're still.
but they're not big enough. You know, and I'm inspired by those people. And I wrote an essay on the blog called "I Am Bill Hicks," after I wrote one a year or two ago called "I Am Che," because these were my inspirations.
Yeah.
And I treated them as models for my own behavior, and I fell short, of course.
Did you ever meet Bill?
No.
No, he died in 92.
92, 93?
Yeah, way back when.
I never even heard of him until the early 2000s.
Yeah, he was, me too. He'd been dead for 10 years before I ever heard his name.
Yeah.
Terrence, did you ever meet Terrence?
Nope. There again, a case where I never heard his name until the early 2000s.
I never heard of it. It was 10 years ago this month. It was November of 2007 that my life got radically reorganized. 10 years ago this month. I just thought of that. It was November of 2007 when I bumped into Terrence McKenna, and my life has never been the same. That was the end of a $100,000 a year real estate career. Real quick.
Well, that's the thing. When you hear these radical voices, you realize that some things are more important than others. And money certainly falls down the list of important topics.
Yeah.
Compared to the way it's treated for all the rest of our lives.
But do you miss it? Do you miss those six figures or not? Be honest.
Of course, absolutely.
There you go,
Do
brother.
you know
Hell yeah.
how much touring I could be doing? How many more people I could be informing if I had that sort of money?
If you had $100,000 a year coming in?
Of course.
Well,
You know, now I have to depend upon the kindness of strangers, the
that's
gift
what I
economy,
depend on.
to get me to tour.
Well,
So what that means is I tour 3 or 4 times a year. So I reach a few thousand people in a year. If I was pouring my own $100,000 into the cause, with a house that was paid for and very low bills and all that, geez, I could be affecting the lives, for better and worse, of a lot more people.
So let me tell you how many people are financing the Hambone Littletail tour. I have never been invited in my entire life to speak before a live group of people. It's never happened. So how does it feel being a rock star of doom?
It has its moments.
Good and bad?
Yeah, of course. You know, as when I was teaching in the classroom, there are those moments when I'm doing a presentation and everything clicks and everybody is locked on.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what I say next.
Yeah.
They're going to be completely into it.
There you go,
And that's why I teach.
Yeah.
That's why I taught for all those years, was for those moments. So that's beautiful. But Jesus Christ, it's hard work. You know, touring is not for the faint of heart.
No.
It's up early, it's to bed late, it's not eating for sometimes a couple of days at a time. It's doing these presentations, and it requires a huge amount of energy. Most people don't understand that it's not a party. I'm not on vacation when I'm touring. It is brutal.
Yeah, this guy, he won't drink a margarita, he won't smoke a bowl with me, nothing, man.
It is really, really, it requires a lot of stamina. And I'm 57 years old.
I'm 58. I'm 58. I got 4 months on you.
And then there's the shit from the people I talked about earlier, you know, the Nicole Foss and the Lear Keith and all that whole list of horrible people.
All the people I'm going to be interviewing the next week.
Right. Who tell these terrible lies about me based on no evidence whatsoever. And that makes this rock star thing not a hell of a lot of fun.
You're a